Well, good morning, folks. This is Tim, and welcome to Living with Parkinson's. As you know, I have Parkinson's disease, and I have for several years now. It's recently becoming more and more progressive, and I rely more and more on my caregiver, my wife Diane, to help me with typical everyday needs. Sometimes we often don't think what happens if suddenly our caregiver is the one in need of care. We lose our caregiver for some medical reasons or whatever. About a week ago, Diane was walking our pup outside. She wasn't paying a lot of attention to where she was going, and she fell face first or chest first on a concrete sidewalk. Oh, scared me to death. I called EMS, and they showed up along with the fire department, and all the neighbors came running and such. They know that I have a disability, and they was worried about myself and about Diane. Well, they came, and of course, we had Diane take her to the hospital because she's having trouble breathing, and we was ready either cardiac or maybe she had broke her sternum or fractured some ribs or whatever. And so I had them take her to the hospital. We did X-rays, and thank God nothing was broken. But suddenly, I realized that Diane's not going to be able to help me for a few weeks. She's severely banged up and bruised up. Trauma to her chest wall is just phenomenal, and she didn't even catch herself with her hands, just face forward onto her chest, onto the concrete. Her chin hitting some gravel and scarring it up a little bit, scratching, and no facial injuries. But suddenly I realized she's going to need caregiving. Well, luckily I'm at the point in my disease where I can I can manage. Okay, I can manage. I can help her. But I didn't realize the value of a caregiver until that point. She had taken the time to educate herself into knowing what my needs were and what they were going to become. I was recently on the Parkinson's Disease Foundation, and I ran across an interesting article that talked about what is a caregiver, how well, thank God she's a therapist also, so she naturally fit right into the role. And she had educated herself with Parkinson's, and she knew what I was going to be going through and what would be demands upon her life. So she had educated herself and she had prepared herself for the duties ahead. But we had not prepared ourselves for her not being able to become be the caregiver. We had not educated ourselves to the point that suddenly the roles might be reversed, and what do we do? I hope that you have in your life in dealing with Parkinson's came up with an alternative plan in case your caregiver suddenly becomes disabled or not able to give care to you, as Diane is to me right now. I hope that you've educated yourself to think that, well, I need somebody else involved in what's going on in this life of mine. So they understand how the disease progresses. They understand how treatment works. They understand the effects of that are occurring to me. The just everything that is happening with Parkinson's disease. We need to develop that support group outside of ourselves. My support group is my wife and myself. Of course, my sons are part of my life and they're part of our group, but they don't they don't become involved in our day to day activity. We're more involved in their life, it seems sometimes, than they are our life. But anyway, needless to say, they're part of our support group. My in-laws, they're very elderly now and dealing with their own health issues and are unable to help in any way. They're very barely able to meet their own needs, which Diane and I end up being their support group and their caregiver. We try to help them as much as possible. But now we're down to one person basically for a few weeks. That's me. I don't have an outside person to rely on. My neighbors are wonderful folks, and they told me, "Yeah, we'll help in any way we can." Of course, we don't want to take advantage of anybody, and we try not to. Sometimes we might have to look outside ourselves and seek outside professional help. maybe we might have to go to a nurse or somebody to help us temporarily for the time being if we're that severe and that far along in our disease. Outside help's nothing to be ashamed of, folks. We need to have this in our mind and be prepared to do this. On the Parkinson's disease website, you can find many wonderful articles on caregiving, and you can find many ways to help your loved ones with Parkinson's. As you can see, I've shared the name of the article, Parkinson's Disease, the Guide to Caregiving. You can find this on your local Parkinson's disease website. It's filled with a lot of good information, folks. But what I want you to take away from this today is, folks, you need to have a plan. What if your caregiver suddenly can't provide the care that you need? What if the roles are reversed? Meanwhile, I want to bid you farewell. God bless, and have the Serenity Prayer says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Folks, the things I cannot change would be Parkinson's disease. And the things that I can would be my attitude towards Parkinson's disease and how others see me. Until next time, be a joy to those people that are around you, and God bless.